Hi, Eric Lanask here at ITEXPO. We're at the Rio in Las Vegas, and joining me this afternoon is X2nSat's Dustin Young. Dustin, thanks for joining me.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
So maybe by way of introduction, how about a quick overview of who X2nSat is?
Sure. So X2nSat is a satellite communications carrier. So we're one of the only four network owner operators in the United States. So we actually have two teleports, one in Atlanta and one in Petaluma, California. We own the building in Petaluma. We have a very nice NOC, and we completely control the ground piece and all the VSAT terminals that are out at customer premise. So we have a complete, we're a little like a LEC, I guess.
So what are your primary lines of business, if you will?
So our primary lines of business, we do, for very remote locations, we do broadband internet.
Okay.
We can do it other places, but we are best, price-wise, we tend to fit that market much better. We do business continuity. It's one of our favorite products. It's a great product because for us, when we're business continuity, we are not only regionally diverse, we are locally diverse, and we give them a complete out-of-market experience. So because we have no partnership in the last mile and we're completely independent, no matter what's happening, whether it's a corporate created outage, which we had one yesterday that we all learned about in Atlanta, whether it's a natural disaster outage, no matter what kind of outage it is, we tend to have our ability to still keep the customer going. And then we do a lot in the machine-to-machine stuff. So think SCADA terminals, think a lot of point-of-sale stuff, lottery systems, things like that.
So with regards to the BC offering, that's a clear, huge advantage not having to rely on other landline operator to provide that service in any kind of a disaster or outage scenario. So that's got to be a very enticing offer.
Yeah, we believe so. Obviously, it gives us a complete a true path diverse solution. We compete a lot with cellular in the product, right? That's a real popular, most understood product that's out there right now. Our big advantage to cellular is that we are truly path diverse out of the market, where cell towers are still lit by fiber in the same market. So when you have market-based outages, we win. We're up when they're down. And then we do a true QoS and class of service on our network, so people do voice over IP over it. One of our very large clients is a hospital chain, and they actually back up their voice over IP system so that their ERs are open. So think all these are hospitals, think all the way from the Gulf Coast up the eastern seaboard. So, hurricane comes through, the ER needs to be open. Last thing a hospital wants to do is turn anyone away. That's bad publicity. And when they can't get to records and when their phones don't work, they can triage you and kind of send you on your way, right? But they start, during Sandy, you saw some mom with a baby walking off, and everybody just was like, that's not okay, you can't do that, we need better regulation. The hospital that has a service from us doesn't have to experience that PR piece, which that may sound like a terrible way to describe it, but it is a really important piece of what they live with. I mean, they not only live with the regulatory stuff, and they need to do their jobs, and they need to save lives, but if they don't, they pay for it publicly. So we help avoid that problem also.
And certainly with the growth of the telemedicine industry, that connectivity becomes even more critical.
Yeah, we're seeing some requests for telemedicine more in a neat way. The telemedicine with the robots. We're starting to see requests for testing so that they can send the robots with Peace Corps and with all of those groups out into other countries, and so the doctor can be here and they can send the satellite communication system and the device that's going to do the surgeries to do it. I actually crashed my mountain bike pretty badly this last January and had to go in for some surgery, and they used in that to even do the work they did on me. They used one of those devices to put all the pieces of the collarbone back together. So the doctor outside of some incision work and all that, I was worked on by a robot. So it was pretty interesting.
That's pretty cool.
They're using it in hospitals and now trying to expand it out into underdeveloped communities, places where real simple healthcare would make a huge difference in the quality of life and some of the basic diseases we just don't even consider here anymore.
So with the couple of different product lines, how does that position you in the competitive market?
So when it comes to like the machine-to-machine and SCADA stuff, we are extremely competitive. You know, with the change in the analog infrastructure that's happening, and change in some of the LECs not wanting those products anymore, and
right.
that part of regulatory, the deregulation piece ending, we come in and we do all that switch 56K, we do all that low bit rate stuff. We actually are the main provider for the largest liquid natural gas pipeline operator in the country, and so we're extremely competitive in that marketplace. And they've actually made it easier for us to be competitive with that change. You know, everybody's out scrambling to find a solution. And while cellular has its place in the world, you end up with lots of different providers, and you have a very different experience depending on how close and far from towers you are. And we are a very consistent experience. Our whole goal is to provide a very consistent and very positive user experience. So no matter if it's in the South, if it's in Canada, if it's in Mexico, their network is identical.
In conjunction with the BC product, do you also do DR?
We do DR. We're actually looking to expand that even further and potentially go into several of the large data centers around the country, so that the customers can have a meet-me point there with us instead of, we have a data center in Petaluma. It's not a SAS 70 Type 2. It's not, it's just a place for customers to co-locate equipment to, because we have our network is private, and I think that's really important to know with our network. Static IP system, no need for VPNs. You can use your own IP scheme on our network. So we extend any kind of MPLS or VPLS network. So you don't have to worry about these third-party devices attached to you and how to deal with them, almost like a BYOB system. We are an inherent core network. So with that data center, you get some DR, you get the BC circuit, you get some recovery time, and you get your DR piece all mixed in.
Cool. One last question for you. Where does the X2nSat name come from?
There was a company contest before my time. It's a pretty good story. They went through all these names, and they basically let all the employees work it out, and ultimately one of the employees came up with the name, and it was everybody thinks it has to do with some formula, X2n, and
sure,
kind of an exponential of something in space, and how you get to the satellite dish in the middle of nowhere. And it has nothing to do with any of that. It was just kind of a fun way to come up with a name, and it doesn't have anything to do with
It's good to let people think that it does, though.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Good. Hey, Dustin, thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the time.